What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are reviewing all the FIBO preseason stuff from the 2025 ELF season. Season is now completely over, so we get to review how we did and see where we had some hits and had some misses. Playlist is out with all of them that we've done so far. Members get them the day before. It actually get them a couple of days. I'm kind of stacking them up a little bit, so members have a bit of a backlog at the moment. So feel free to do that. Like the video. Super easy, takes 2 seconds, helps me out a bunch. So do that. With all that being said, let's talk about the Panthers, because this was one with a lot of tension.
The extension-wise, they've got a couple of these guys back. It's not all doom and gloom from Matt Bressington today. David Bressington, amazing player. Honestly, he could be one. He could be number one. You know, some people have said if he had Glenn's line, he would have 2,000 yards, which is a brave statement, I'm going to admit, but he's a phenomenal player, explosive athlete. I think he needs to add a little bit more bulk to his size. He's about 190, 195. He gets up to 210, I think it could be a real problem. AJ Wendland, the heart and soul of this team. Everything goes through him. He's the general, he's the captain, whatever you want to call it. Middle of that defense, multiple time all-star and tackle leader. He is the presence in the middle of that field. And then we've got a little bit more finesse in Devin Burrell. Special teams award winner. The best special teams player to ever play in the ELF. He's multiple. I think he got 7 touchdowns in just 1 year as a punt and kick returner.
This one aged fairly well. David Bressington finished 7th in yards. I was saying all season, beating the drum that he wasn't getting enough attention in the offensive play calling, which I do still believe. Like, he was far off a lot of people's expectations in the amount of touches, but still averaged over 5 yards a carry on the year. He had a good season, but it kind of felt like the offense was kind of phasing him out a little bit. So honestly, I kind of hope we see him in a new team next year. I'm just saying, like, that uses him as I think they should, because he has such a high ceiling and it didn't really give him the opportunity to shine. AJ Wendland won DPOY, which was amazing for him. Going via to the UFL Combine, me and him met several times. He's a great guy, and he had a phenomenal year. The best year of his career in terms of his allocates, All-Star and DPOY. Doesn't really get too much better than that. Devin Burrell had a spotty season, I'm going to be honest. He did win Special Teams Player of the Year, three-peated the award, but he also split time between the Panthers and the Mercenaries. Wasn't performing well as enough as a corner on the Panthers, went into the Mercenaries and won Special Teams Player of the Year still. So, mixed season for him and for David, and a great season for AJ, but overall, the core did perform as we expected them to for the most part. David was still a great running back. AJ is still the best defensive player in the league this year. And Devin was still the best, especially in player of the year this year.
Their quarterback issues are well documented. They brought in DJ Irons. He's big, he's athletic, he's mobile, has a good arm. I need to see a little bit more. I need him to prove to me that he can be among the elite. He thinks he's in the elite category. He has no doubt about that. We need to see him prove it.
Boy, is that an understatement of the year that he thought he was in the elite. And he had a good season, and I said from the beginning of the year, I thought he was capable. I just need him to show it. He claimed the Russian title nearly before he got ejected, which is his own thing. But he was the first quarterback to reach 1,000 yards on the ground. He had 24 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He played well. It was just his attitude that was the problem for me personally, for many people across the league. It wasn't just me. And he's very vocal about that, and I'm sure I'll get some lovely messages after this goes live. However, I think he's in a difficult position. Like, he could have been a superstar in this league if he had a different frame of mind. Like, trust me, that is true. Like, he is exciting to watch. He has some big plays. He talks a bit of shit, which I'm personally fine with. But it just depends on the I think maliciousness that you talk shit with. It was the problem for me personally. And a lot of people in the league thought he could have been like a real villain of the league in a good way, you know? And marketed himself as such. But I think he missed that opportunity a little bit with some of his outspokenness towards players in the league and with the overall stuff that he was saying publicly, let alone the stuff that he was saying in the DMs, which I can't get into because I'll get in trouble again, as I have before, for pointing some of that out, I'm going to be honest. So yeah, he had a good season on the field. Did have a few records, but I can't help but feel some of his stylistic stuff contributed to other players in the offense not having the best seasons.
Daryl Stewart Jr., amazing receiver. One of the best playoff runs in the ELF history with the surge. He was averaging like 200 yards a game and multiple touchdowns. Amazing player. Finding ways to get him open is going to be really important for this Panthers offense.
And it was. It definitely was. Stewart is an elite receiver in this league. He cracked 1,000 yards, one of the very few players to do so in ELF history, but he didn't get all-star. It was a difficult position. I think one of my friends that I'm close to pointed out it was the quietest 1,000 yard season that we've ever seen because of the shit that DJ was doing throughout the year. Like, yeah, 1,000 yards was, again, also the weird shit. So, I think that does play into it. Daryl Stewart, an incredible receiver, one of the best. I think that he showed that this season. If you watch just the tape and ignore some of the other stuff that's going on around this team. But Daryl Stewart, I am a massive fan of him as a player.
Which side of the ball do you see more, or do you see the Panthers having more problems throughout the season, the defensive or offensive side?
I think they're going to have more problems in their defense. You've got AJ, and I know the Panthers fans say they had the #1 rush defense in the league, but they often leave out they had the worst pass defense in the league as well. Teams figured out very quickly they could pass on them and have no issues. They have got in 2 DBs to be European imports in Milo Silic and Attila Isak, who are good young prospects. And you see how they step up. You know, they're going to be having a ton of responsibility in this defensive core. Are they ready for it? I don't know. Ezra Algami, he is one of the best players coming into this league at the offensive line position. Absolute mauler.
I was right about this as well, I'm not going to lie. Like, offensively, they had 1,000 yard receiver and they had technically a 1,000 yard rusher. So they didn't really struggle in terms of the statistical output on their offense. Defensively, they were just not great. Like, they weren't bad in anything. They just weren't good in anything either. You look at all the stats, like rushing yards allowed, passing yards allowed, touchdowns allowed, like sacks for the team, interceptions for the team. They didn't stand out in anything, in any way. Like, they weren't the bottom of anything, but they weren't the top of anything. It's a very Panthers position to be in for just middle. In honestly everything, I was appalled. Like, when I was reviewing the numbers for this, I was like, holy shit, they really were just medium. And some of that is player stuff. They had a solid defensive line for the most part. AJ, of course, was excellent at DPOY. They still struggled in the secondary. I did mention Ilic and I mentioned Tila, but they're not ready, I don't think, to be #1 like E safeties in the league. It would be different if Milos goes to Nordic. I think that'd be really, really good. Tila, of course, in a difficult situation. Maybe another year in the GFL just to develop him. Both of those guys are good athletes. They just need more football skills. That's my personal opinion on those 2 guys. But again, strongly just medium as well. Azat did good for his season. And people within the Panthers organization, I'm going a little bit freeballing here. They are not a fan of some of my opinions, which is completely fine. But some of them view me as more of just like a talking head, I think, when I say that Ezat is best as a guard. He played guard in the CFL. Like, I don't know how anyone can disagree with that. I think some people don't like that I was right with the Panthers. I had some arguments with people in the Panthers organization throughout the year, and I'm saying this on my personal platform because shit, like, no one can really enforce it right now because of what's going on. So I got a little bit freer with my words now that the season's over. But yeah, I had some disagreements with the Panthers organization about where to play him and certain situations that transpired throughout the year. So that was a difficult one. But they and players in the Panthers organization too. I'm not very liked within that team, but they did struggle on defense and they had some struggles on offense for sure. But neither of those 2 sides were among the worst or among the best in the entire league.
So Nick said in week 1, where they play at home against the Faravan Throners, they will come out victorious.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Next up, we have Nordic Storm, which is a little bit of a Pandora's box still for us, everybody, but they will play them at home too, and Nick called it as a loss.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And we go into a bye week in week 3. Week 4, we play at home against the Prague Lions, and he called it as a win.
Yeah, me and Nick got to talk about that one. Yep.
Then is the first away game against the Cologne Centurions. Also, Nick called this as a win.
Yeah.
Next up, Nordic Storm again in week 6. It's an away game, and this is called as a loss.
Okay, yeah. You can see that.
Next is Ferhava again, and this is picked as a win by Nick.
Interesting.
And then I hand it over to you to
Amazing.
pick the remainder of the season.
Thank you very much. I mean, they're starting 4-2. That's a good start.
It's a good start, solid.
Watch me ruin it, all of it.
Let's go. Let's ruin it for them.
So let's ruin it for the Panthers fans. So Cologne Centurions, I think they're going to win that one. So they're going to go to 5-2. Confidence is high, 5-2. But then look at the end of that schedule. That schedule at the end is brutal. Prague Lions, they're going to lose that one. Vienna Vikings, and then they've also got the Ravens twice. Both of those back to back to back to back. They're losing every single one of those games. Like, that is just an unbelievable way to look at the end of that. Oh my, it's blood red of just having Vienna and Munich at the same on back to back to back to back weeks. That's a brutal way to finish the season. And they finished at 5-7, so they're kind of still stuck in that medium range.
We were fucking spot on. Me and Nick spot on. Katrina read it out, but it was Nick's predictions. The only thing we got wrong was the Prague game being flipped. Like, they lost the first one and they won the second one. That's it. So you had a really good handle on what they were as a team, which I think me and Nick deserve a lot of credit for. That we predicted them to go 5-7, which they did. Ultimately, literally just flip those Prague games around, we would have been perfect, which is really always annoying. When you get that close as an analyst and as a scout, and it's just one thing you just flip, could have been better. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We were spot on. The Panthers did finish 5-7.
I have questions on DJ Irons, of course, naturally. I have questions on, honestly, a lot of their players. So it's a difficult one. I think, honestly, if I'm going to be very completely transparent, I think they're trending downwards.
All right, so this one might be considered wrong for some people, right for others. I do still think this is true. They had a worse record than they had. They've literally went from 8-4 to 6-6 to 5-7. So it is. They are going downwards. Like, objectively, their record is worse. And they just seem to be losing a couple players due to retirement. They aren't utilizing young players as much as they could be. They've not got all the Polish talent. There are still some very good Polish players playing in the Polish league that they need to draw over. I don't know, man. I'm still a little bit on the fence with them. And it's probably not helping the fact my reputation within the team. But they've lost a head coach as well. Like, they've lost GM. They've lost a lot. So, shit, man. I think it's kind of undeniable that they are trending down. I do still think I'm correct on this. And that will bring us to the end of the FIBO Wroclaw Panthers recap. It was good. It was real good, actually, because I think me and Nick were absolutely right on pretty much everything that we predicted. Like, Nick had a few notes as well. Katrina made some good questions, and she did real well because she stepped in for the East videos. But we were spot on. Like, we just were. Like, the record was right. The trending down was right. Some of the player doubts we had were correct. So, I think we got it spot on. Me and Nick deserve some credit, so send Nick some love. Like the video, subscribe, become a member if you want to have all of these earlier. Like, I'm literally just running through them, so we got a bit of a backlog at the moment. Thank you for always being so supportive as well, especially in this off-season. Things are a little bit weird at the moment with me. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year for work, so support the channel. I need it. Thank you very much. See you next time. Goodbye.